last thing, I mean fourth thing is, besides keeping the private actors alive, is that that there must be any structure, or should be any structure, who is also providing information about the market, because I know that it's a pity that the colleague disappeared somehow, but that especially the youth work and the public funded cultural work and all those actors who are in this funded sector, that they are much more influencing on the European level, on the national level, than the private actors. Then, I mean, in comparison to a private music agency, whatever they are doing, producing CDs or doing booking, whatever, but the political contacts of the NGOs are much better, and so the influence is much better, and so they can proceed with their own ideas, and they are going into the market, into the private music market, and that's the biggest problem. So there should be any, how to say, any lobbying for the private music agencies, for those who are doing exchange between East and West as well, but on their own money, and who are investing private money. That's it. I mean, because if you're using your 20,000 euro in order to bring the Ukrainian band to, I don't know, let's say to Belgium in that case, then you need to have any output of this. But if there is any NGO from Belgium who is inviting the band, so what? They are not in need to make any money out of this. They say, okay, we get the money from Brussels, and everything is fine. But this is not the future. The future is, in my eyes, based on the private market. I don't know if I'm too liberal in that case, but that's my point of view. And to just finish now, we have one very successful example. This is the so-called LITHUANIA festival, which is organized by my colleague Tobias, or so-called Larry, sitting there. And LITHUANIA festival is an exchange program or exchange project, and it happens every year in November. And we are inviting Czech artists, I mean musicians, writers, whatever, I mean all the stuff of the cultural sector. We are inviting to come to Germany. It's quite okay to present Czech culture there, which is not quite common. And of course we know people and kinetic, yes. But current Czech culture is not so common. And we started with this project in 2001 with a budget of one paying guest. So 5 euro was the whole budget for the project. Because there was only one guest who was paying entrance, and this was 5 euro. Then the waiter, me, another Czech colleague, organizer, so-called manager, and some journalists. But one guest paid. And then it happened that in 2003, 2 years later, we got a so-called initial funding by the EU, happily, with 25,000 euro. Was also quite surprising for us, because 25,000 euro was an amount which I never saw before in my whole life, at all. And so we were able to use this 25,000 euro to make an initial LITHUANIA festival, so-called. So we invited a lot of musicians, and really crazy shows happened, and very good paid, yes. And the musicians took out a lot of money to home, and we had 1,750 guests. So this is much more than only one, of course. And then, in 2004, 1 year later, we had a budget not of 25,000 euro, but of 2,000 euro, which is more or less really nothing. But due to the initial funding from the EU, we were able to get another 2,500 from private money. That means that the clubs were interested in this LITHUANIA festival